Hi there, greetings and salutations. And it is my hope, I don't know what I guess 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago, what's the deadline, Derek, on when taxes have to be in? Midnight? 5?
I think just at some point on April 15th. Like, if you wrote your check, or I guess people don't write checks anymore, if you did the electronic payment on the government site at 11:58 p.m., it'd still be April 15th, right?
Here's my question. So I did my taxes a while ago, right? They didn't e-file it, so I went then on to the IRS website to make an electronic payment on April 11th.
Okay, yeah.
And it still shows as like pending. On the website as pending.
Yeah, don't worry about it. As long as you have the receipt that you submitted it, you're fine.
You think so?
It's just like if I put something in the mail on yesterday, April 14th, I put a check in the mail, it would be postmarked for April 14th. So they would get it April 16th or 17th and they'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But you should have the people that do your taxes should e-file for you.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. They did state but not federal.
Weird. Because my guy Kirk always files for me. Kirk's great. And it's important to have a great team.
I've had the same, I used one of the big companies. I had the same woman for years, and this year it was different. I have no idea why.
Yeah, see, my team's been with me. God, Carly's been my stylist for 10 years. Josh has been my lawyer/agent for the last 5 since I started the LLC. Kirk's been my accountant for 3 years. Matt's my numbers guy. So he's my manager, and Matt's been with me for, let me see, I just sent him a card, 5 years. So yeah, it's important to have a great team around you.
No, hold on.
And any great person has a great team around them. That's how a great person is great.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Carly is your stylist.
Yes. Yeah. Does a wonderful job.
Okay. Matt is your numbers guy?
Yeah.
Kurt is your accountant?
Kirk.
Okay.
Like Kirk Cameron.
There's apparently a Josh.
Yeah. Josh is a great guy. Josh watches this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yet, why do you not have a member of your team that's doing your mailing? You said that you mailed one of them a letter or something, a card you sent them?
Because it's a personal touch, Jake. I'm a card guy. I like to send cards for things, handwritten cards. I send thank you cards for everything. I send sympathy cards. People remember stuff like that. People remember that you took the time to send them a card.
Since we began this particular show, Query and Schultz, this is episode number 232, and we have accomplished, I guess, we've done 232 of these shows. And thank you to Bailey and Wood, who is the absolute best when it comes to mortgage lending, for helping make that possible, along with our other friends at, Chateau Kitchens, obviously, the American Dairy Association of Indiana. It goes without saying. Hoagies and Hops, which has been absolutely fantastic. Chili Water, a number of people that help make this possible. And we've gone through a number of different things between this and the radio show. Derek has turned 40, but more importantly, I've turned 40 and 50 in the times that we've done
That's right.
this program.
I remember your 40th birthday on the show.
I had a heart attack during the time that we have been doing this
Almost
show.
Kicked
it. Almost kicked it, as Derek says. There have been a number of different...
I had a baby.
Derek had a baby. There have been a number of different... I think you got married, actually, in the time.
Yeah.
Never once in any of those highs, lows, life changes, dynamics, never once have I received a card from the card guy.
Your address doesn't work. Your wedding invitation never got to you. Remember? We'd sent one to Shannon with the expectation that you were going to be her +1 because we were trying to keep it close friends. But then Ashley guilted me into sending you one as well, and it never got there. I got a return to sender. Like, I know where you live. I've been inside your apartment. Your address does not work. Anytime I try to send something to you, it gets kicked back to me. I don't know if it's a Midtown mail problem or what, but I've sent you things multiple times, 3 or 4 times, and I just gave up. I stopped doing it.
You don't think about just hand delivering?
How far do you want me to go here? I've got a very busy life.
Okay.
I have a lot happening. I'm coaching Little League.
Carly can only get you in so many places. You're coaching Little League?
Yeah, Carly does have a busy schedule. Yeah,
You're coaching Little League?
I'm the head coach of our Little League team, yeah. The Grasshoppers. Very intimidating. We're bright orange for some reason. Can we get to the show? Let's start with the show. We don't need to do Little League.
What moron has a team called the Grasshoppers and you're not green?
I know, it's bright orange. It's like neon bright orange.
And why are you not the Ladybugs? I mean,
I know, and it's little kid baseball, but it's not that little kid. Like Grasshopper should be like T-ball, right?
Yeah,
Don't you think? I'll show you the
who
uniform.
comes up with the team names?
Well, they're all minor league teams. So there's a Greensboro Grasshoppers team because we're in the minors. So they're all AA teams.
The Biscuits wasn't a possibility.
It blinds your eyes how bright orange this is.
And that's the Grasshoppers.
These are our jerseys.
That's the Grasshoppers.
Me and my son,
you couldn't find a minor league team that wears orange?
Well, we were supposed to be the Thunder, but we had a gear problem. Like the Trenton Thunder, the Yankees AA affiliate, but they couldn't get the gears, so we transitioned to Grasshoppers, and then we ended up with orange jerseys. Who knows? Yeah.
Now, are you going to go to Dairy Queen if your kid gets a foul ball?
We'll support local.
But I'm saying.
Mine was Carvel ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was because you.
Yes. I grounded out one time. So it was in fair play. I grounded out one time when I was in 5th grade. It was the only time that I put the ball in the field and made contact. I had 4 foul tips. We kept track. And they took me for ice cream. Yeah, my parents. It was a celebratory thing. I got the game ball from the coach. I think it was, in hindsight, maybe a token game ball, but I got a game ball. I was not a good baseball player. I'm an excellent baseball coach.
Okay.
Excellent.
Sure.
Excellent baseball coach.
You're good at wiping the nose and doing all the signs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're teaching kids to cover second base because that was a big problem in game number 1 for the Grasshoppers. Okay. A couple of double play chances.
Do you have an
Nobody
assistant
was home.
coach?
Yeah.
Is it Kirk?
No. Nobody on my team
Carly?
is on the Little League team. It's all dads.
The Pacers are in the playoffs. They have won 50 games now. That happened after their thrilling, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it was
double
thrilling,
overtime
sure.
win against the Cleveland Cavaliers after being down 27 and utilizing their bench to get to win number 50. And now it is on to the postseason. Derek, I had said all along that I would rather see Milwaukee than Detroit, but I have increased concern about this playoff series because, and call me crazy, I think Damian Lillard is a wonderful player, and certainly the fact that he has a blood clot, I mean, there's nothing to be taken lightly about any of that, and you don't want to see a reprieve coming from that kind of a serious injury. But as wonderful a player as Damian Lillard is, crazy as it sounds, I almost feel like with him out there, Milwaukee is almost easier to handle because they don't then facilitate everything through Giannis. And what Giannis has done for the last 2 weeks is a whole nother level. I mean, I don't know if people paid attention. He's averaging like 12 assists per game down the home stretch. His shooting percentage, all of it, everything facilitates through him. And he is Jokic with a better floor run, if you will. I think it's very dangerous today to face him in round number 1.
Yeah, you never want to be in a series where the other team has the best player.
Correct.
No offense to Tyrese Halliburton. Pascal Siakam's had a fantastic season, but they're not Giannis. Giannis is still a top 5 NBA player right now. And I've always viewed the 4-5 series as kind of like the 8-9 game in the NCAA tournament. Now, I understand that the NCAA tournament is a one-off, right? It's single-game elimination, so there's a lot less margin for error. But it's a coin flip. Like, I would say, gun to my head, the Pacers have a 52-48 shot of winning this series. And a lot of that is based on the fact that they're going to get an extra game at home if it comes to that. If it comes to a Game 7, and they've been excellent at home. I think the Pacers have one of the best home court advantages in the entire league, and that's stretched over the last 2 years, really. They've just been a really good home court team. Lillard, we'll see with the availability. I saw a report yesterday that they think that he can come back for the playoffs at some point, but now Vince is saying that he's definitely going to be back, and I don't know. Vince is kind of a worrier when it comes to that. I think I would normally agree with your point. I think the problem is that Lillard can just heat up and just kill you.
No doubt. I mean,
just kill you.
There was a game this year where Lillard was scoreless, I think, or field goal-less, if that makes sense, through a certain point in the game, and he got fouled, went to the free throw line. And I remember saying, like, you got to be careful here because if you let him just kind of feel that touch, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happens, right?
Yeah, and this Bucks team is better than last year's team. I know that they were the 3 seed last year, but they were kind of running on fumes, remember, at the end of the season against the Pacers. And I think they've got a couple of guys who have kind of been there and done that, like they're 2, right? Lillard has been in umpteen playoff series, right, and Giannis has won a ring, and
Lopez
it's tough.
Is annoying as well.
Yeah, he's a good player. So I think the Pacers will. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know, I don't think any Pacers fan, any sane Pacers fan is looking at this series like, oh, this is going to be easy.
Right.
Detroit wasn't going to be easy either, right? But I think the reason why Milwaukee is more difficult is because there's no fear factor there. Remember the Pacers in Game 1 last year against the Bucks? I mean, they were shell-shocked.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, Siakam was the only one doing anything because Siakam had been there, done that. Everybody else was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening. It was almost like a tidal wave. And that's what you get. That's what you would get with Detroit compared to what you would get with Milwaukee.
But clearly, as we saw last year, that lasts for one game.
You're not wrong.
Now the question becomes for Indiana: is there a risk of complacency of wait a minute, like we were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. This first round, okay, wake me up when we get to Racers and Pacers.
I don't think so. I think kind of going through what they did last year where they were the overlooked team would make you more wary of somebody that you're playing against being overlooked and them, switching those roles. Right. So I don't think that they're doing that. But this has been, even though they're the 4 seed, this has been a 40-17 basketball team since the second week in December. I mean, they've been winning games at a 70% clip. Only 3 teams in the league have been better than them. Just overall, wins and losses wise. This is a really good basketball team. And I think people here are hesitant to say that because people in Indiana are always like, and this is the same thing with the Colts. Why aren't you talking about us? Why aren't you talking about us? And they're banging the table for it. And then when somebody nationally says something nice about the Pacers and the Colts, it's like, shh, shut up. Why are you talking about us? And it's like, isn't this what you wanted? You wanted the coverage, right? You guys whined and complained about this the whole time.
I've never seen that level of emotion out of you.
Oh, yeah. It's 100% true. Don't you agree?
Are you like that with the Grasshoppers?
I get into it sometimes. Yeah. I get into it sometimes.
Do you ever chew kids out?
No, I don't chew kids out. I demand excellence. Because that's what I demand out of myself. So my 7 and 8-year-olds need to be excellent as well.
How long are practices?
Hour and a half. Yeah. They're only once a week.
Who comes up with the lesson plans and
I do. Yeah, I have a spreadsheet. We go over drills.
Okay.
And if we do it wrong, we do it again.
How do you determine who's what position?
Well, you have to move kids around, but obviously some have better strengths than others when it comes to like arm strength and can they catch and things like that. Like I need somebody at first base that can catch. Not every kid on the team can catch at this level.
Okay, so what happens if you have to rotate them around?
I choose to do that. Every kid has to play at least 2 innings in the infield. That's a league rule.
Really?
But generally, the weaker players, and I hate even looking at it, weaker players, like all kidding aside, we're out there to have fun, right? But we'll put them at third base, whereas the stronger kids will be shortstop, second base, first base, where a lot of the action is, because a lot of kids are righties.
You know what I think would be the hardest position to find a kid to play? Catcher.
Yeah, the kids that we have that volunteer to play catcher, they love it. No, this is a machine pitch. Yeah, so I operate the machine. It's like a big lever, and you pull it, and yeah.
How fast does the ball come in?
Oh, I don't know. Not super fast. We dial it way down. We dial it down to the lowest setting.
Okay. Can
we talk Pacers? We were in the middle of. I think I was in the middle of making a good point before you ruined it, which is usually what you do on this show.
Since your jerseys are bright orange and you're the Grasshoppers, does that mean that if for example, if every team had to be named after a fruit and yours was red, you would call your team like the Grapes?
I just think Pacers fans get
it makes no sense.
Overly concerned, and I think this is a Purdue thing too. I think there are a lot of teams in this area that they perform at their best when the expectations are low.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, I mean,
right? Or you're thinking it's like house money,
right?
Type of a deal. Or when you're being overlooked, when you can play the underdog card, all of that. I think that's when the Pacers and the Colts and Purdue, I don't really feel that as much with IU, really thrive. And I think that's why fans get wary. Like I saw a national, I'm trying to think of who I saw. Was it FanDuel? I think it was one of the gambling sites. And they were like, are we overlooking the Pacers? They're plus whatever they were, 1,700 to make the finals or something. Because they've been playing such good basketball.
Here's the thing, Derek. And I want to be wrong with this, okay? and I mean this is no disrespect to the Pacers. Do I think the Pacers are a better team right now than Milwaukee? Probably. Although I do think, to your point, Giannis is a guy that can just say...
He's an equalizer, yeah.
Right.
Big time.
Do I think that they're a better team than Detroit? Yes. Do I think they're a better team than Orlando? Yes. Do I think they're a better team than, insert name of Denver at this point? Probably yes. But I think in the East you have Boston and Cleveland, and there's a very big gap before everybody else.
Yeah, and I would put I think the Knicks are a bad matchup for them. I
would agree with that.
Like pound for pound, I don't think the Knicks are a vastly superior team to the Pacers, but I just think that they create a lot of problems for them. If you gave everybody, I said this on your show yesterday. It's funny, I filled in on on your radio show. I said that if you gave everybody True Serum and you asked them, can the Pacers win an NBA championship this year? The answer would probably be no, right? But I still think that winning just a series, to me, after a 50-win season,
right here,
that's good enough.
Derek.
That's the baseline for me.
I did a simple Google search. Several minor league baseball teams incorporate orange as their branding uniform. Notable examples include the Montgomery Biscuits.
They're single A, right?
The double A affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, they're double A now.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were single A.
Additionally, the Orioles have announced they will be utilizing orange-on-orange alternate uniforms for select home games. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Other teams with orange in the Columbus Clippers, Syracuse Mets, Portland Sea Dogs. The Sea Dogs. You don't think your guys would rather be Sea Dogs than Grasshoppers?
I don't run the league. I didn't choose the team name. The team name was chosen for me. I am making the best out of
And you are
a
the
bad
person that
situation.
decided, okay, orange?
No, I didn't decide the colors either. I opened up the cardboard box that got shipped from the company, and I almost was blind because the jerseys were neon orange, and the hats are neon orange.
Did you tell the people, the morons shipping it, that you're the Grasshoppers?
I told the kids, get green socks, because I was thinking we're going to have green jerseys, so get green socks. So now we've got some kids that have green socks with neon orange
What are you,
jerseys.
the Irish flag? Orange, white, and green? What are you doing here?
I don't know. It's like being the Blue Jays and you open up the box
right.
and it's red, bright red. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But I don't know. We're making the best out of it. We're 0-1 so far this season, but making the best.
How close was the game?
Really close. I think it was 11-7.
And who was the other team?
The other team was the Marauders. So everybody else has cool names besides us, basically. Like Marauders is badass, right? Like that's a cool name.
What color?
What are the Grasshoppers?
What color are the Marauders?
They were red. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Okay, see, that's orange. That hoodie, Grasshoppers baseball.
That's photoshopped.
No, it's not. Jordan just pulled that up.
Yeah, it's photoshopped.
And that's our little logo. So that's our hat, the little grasshopper with the bat on his shoulder. Yeah. All right, back to the show. I wanted to talk about something else. Just tying a bow on the regular season, and you can tell me if you disagree with this. The Pacers finished with 50 wins, right? 50-32. Now, if I was to ask you most seasons, even the seasons that you're super nerdy about, like how many wins did the 1995 Pacers have? You'd have no idea, right? It's kind of an arbitrary thing. Pacers have only won 50 games one other time in the last 20 years, and that was the 2014 team that was the best team in the East, or the number one seed in the East.
Did they win 60?
No, they fell short of that. The all-time record is the 03-04 team, 161. So the JO team, that's still the NBA franchise record for wins. I still think that's significant. 20 years, you're only the second team to do it. If they would have lost that game to the Cavs the other night when it was basically the Mad Ants against the Cavs G League team, does that really matter? Probably not. I'm not saying that it's, hang a banner because the Pacers won 50 games, but I just think the NBA regular season, Jake, is so long and so tedious. And if you're dedicating time to watching Chris and Quinn or listening to Mark and Pat and Eddie on a Wednesday night in January against the Timberwolves, you need to have a payoff, right?
Right.
It needs to be, you need to have validation for that. And the Pacers were a good and fun basketball team. So even if they lose this series, that's not going to change. The last 4.5 months, it's been a really good basketball team. In
addition, they're very likable.
That's
I mean, in all honesty, that 03-04 team, that group, I mean, look, people loved them, don't get me wrong. But you loved them because they were your team. Mm-hmm. They were pretty polarizing guys. This group is not. I mean, I think even
Well, yeah, he still had Tinsley and Jackson and guys like that then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and Artest.
Yeah, and
obviously.
Artest, yeah, sure.
But, but this group, if you are some guy that, for whatever you're coaching an 8-year-old basketball team that wears black and silver, and you call them the Ladybugs,
great.
Somewhere, but you were looking at
harping on it.
Aaron Nesmith and Tyrese Halliburton and Thomas Bryant. They're very likable guys. I mean, they seem to genuinely get along with one another. They have very good chemistry. I know these are buzzwords that we use, but I think there's a lot of truth to it. They seem unselfish. They seem right now like a group that enjoys playing with each other and wants to win for each other as much as themselves. Miles Turner as well that you see there. There's a lot to like about it. And for them to get 50 wins is cool. And look, I hope they make a deep run for sure. I love nothing more than in the month of May having Pacer playoff games going on. And it's great.
I love the fact that it's a Saturday 1 o'clock start. Grasshoppers have a game at 1 o'clock Saturday. So I'm going to miss the Pacers game. But Saturday at 1 o'clock. Afternoon, it's still daylight, and you're walking into arena.
It's pretty
There's
cool.
something nostalgic about that. You
cool.
think of NBA on NBC and kind of the old days when it comes to that. Quick tail of the tape. Bucks won 3 of 4. The one win for the Pacers was the Tyrese Halliburton circus shot 4-point play, which wasn't that long ago. That was last month. But Bucks won 129 and 117 early in the season at Milwaukee. Pacers were without Nesmith, Nembhard, and Shepard, so maybe you take that a little bit with a grain of salt. Game 2 was New Year's Eve in Indiana. The Bucks won that one. Pacers still without Nesmith at that point, but they had started to play better basketball. Game 3 was the one that I mentioned, and that was a Sega Baba for the Pacers, and they still ended up winning. Game 4 was also a Sega Baba. That was a loss in Milwaukee. But again, the caveat there, it's tougher Sega Baba on the road.
Second game of a back-to-back, by the way, for the normal people.
It's very, very difficult. And half of the games they've played this season against the Bucks, I understand that they split them, were Sega Babas. That's a tough position. Whereas the Bucks had no Sega Babas. None of the Pacers games were Sega Baba for the Bucks. But 2 of them were Sega Baba for the Pacers.
By the way,
tough to overcome that.
They played game 1 on Saturday. When's game 2?
I don't think they've even announced that yet, have they? Yeah, Vince says no.
But
yeah.
It's like probably like Tuesday or Wednesday, right?
I don't mean this to be harsh. The Pacers, when they make the playoffs, are treated like the Houston Texans when they make the playoffs.
Correct.
There aren't people
They're treated like the guy in the shipping department that has to send shirts to the Grasshoppers,
okay, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, just whatever.
If you're not, unless you're an NBA dork, because the NBA dorks love the Pacers because they're super fun and the analytics guys love them and they get up and down and they're great to watch. But if you're not an avid NBA fan and you're in Providence, Rhode Island, or Tampa, Florida, or Denver, Colorado, you're not stopping what you're doing to watch a Pacers-Bucks playoff game, right? Even with Giannis, and you have some of the star power, and I think Halliburton's got a little bit of that. But they're going to be in the worst TV window. You remember that year they played the Magic in the first round? Like the George Hill, Paul George team? I think that was 2013. And all of those games were at like 10:30 a.m. It was like the Hinkle sectional of the NBA playoffs. And
Hinkle sectional was the most desired sectional at all. What are you talking about?
Well, because of the early start. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because of the early start. Ready for our Hoagie and Hero?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
This sandwich looks fabulous.
Oh, yeah. I'm sad that Rakestraw's not here yet. He's going a little bit later.
Yesterday I had dental work done, so a little sore in the mouth.
Very soft. This here from Hoagies and Hops, our pals, is the Pitt Twist. This is Greg Rakestraw's favorite sando. So you got some copious amounts of delicious, some slaw. Fresh sliced Dietz and Watson ham. You got some provolone there. You got some house-made slaw. You have some mayo and the secret ingredient, Pitt Twist, right? Like the Permonti brothers with the fries. Instead, potatoes on top. You got chippies. Hers chips on top. So just like when you were a kid, you make a ham and cheese sando, throw some chips on that. This is an elevated version of that right here on the Lucio's bread shipped in from South Jersey.
By the way.
You get the crunch, too. It's awesome.
Perfect compliment for that. Sorry. I got to eat slow because of the dental work.
Yeah, no, I understand.
The Arc, which we've had before. I love this because
it's good.
It's a New Zealand rice lager. What that means, Derek, this is so smooth.
I don't even know what that means. It's
of
good.
all of them from Chili Water, it means it features rice in it.
Is that really what it means?
Yes. It is so clean, right?
I like it. It's good. Makes me want to lift a bicycle over my head.
It's undoubtedly the smoothest. Like, you can taste the hop there.
Yeah.
4.3 the ABV on this. But just look at the can alone looks refreshing, does it not? Mm-hmm. Fabulous. And again, the rice lager. So that creates, you get a hop taste to it, but it is not only smooth, like cold, but smooth. There's just not a lot of bite on that.
No, it's good.
On the palate. It's great.
I believe it's only available in the cans. So you got to go to the fridge there at Chili Water Tap Room.
It's worth it, though.
Right across the hall, 42nd and Boulevard, right there on the southwestern edge of Midtown. Our hero of the week, sticking with basketball. I think maybe it came with a little less fanfare, but honestly, I think it's a really big deal. Like, not every year is the WNBA going to have a player that comes into the league that already is a household name,
right,
like Caitlin Clark, like Paige Beckers. You know, no offense to Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston was a fantastic college player. She wasn't a household name kind of coming into the league, whereas Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers, even for non-avid women's basketball watchers, I think know who those women are.
Did you see the viral post yesterday from I got to think of what year it would have been from, 2013, something like that?
Was it from Paige Beckers?
No. It was from somebody. What's Paige Beckers' hometown?
Minnesota somewhere.
Yeah.
She's like Caitlin Clark. She's a Midwestern kid.
Somebody, when she was in 6th grade, she was in some tournament somewhere and had posted back in 2013 maybe.
Wow.
And it said, remember the name now. The best 6th grade point guard I've ever seen, Paige Beckers of whatever town, and it had a picture of her like this little girl, with her shirt on.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool and stuff like that.
So
Even
she's
though
been.
I know you've laughed at that before. My kid is the best 4th grade point guard in the country.
Well, she clearly was that good that it was that obvious, right?
Yeah. She'll go to the Dallas Wings. Kurt Miller, the former IU head coach, is there. Adina, Minnesota. They're waving wildly in the control room in there. Said that it was always her the entire way, which was no doubt. 3-time first-team All-American. What I loved is that the entire UConn team and coaching staff was there. Entire team. Say what you want about UConn, and I know I'm not a big Geno fan.
That's smart, though.
They support each other, and it's an unbelievable program. I mean, it's the greatest of great.
Probably send cards
programs.
to one another.
They probably do. You know what? You're making fun of me. They probably do. And they would wear orange jerseys together. If they were bright orange, they wouldn't even care about that. So congrats to Paige Beckers. I think she is going to have a huge impact on the league and its popularity, and she's got her own fan base, and all of these things are amazing for the growth of the W, if you will. All these things. What'd you get dental work done, by the way? You had your molars out or something?
Okay. Interesting question. And I have a question about this I'm going to bring up later. I'm not proud of this. How often do you go to the dentist? Be honest. How often do you go to the dentist?
On the regular cadence. What is it, twice a year?
Do you really? Okay.
Yeah. You don't do that?
No, because I didn't. Believe it or not,
I think most people do if they have insurance. You're gainfully employed.
I didn't have dental insurance for a long time. So, and I brush and floss with regularity. I had no cavities. I had not been in some time, but I had no cavities. But they had.
Some of it is genetic.
Huh?
Some of it is genetic.
It is.
Yeah.
But so I had to do what's called a deep cleanse. So they've got to go not just clean here, but get like under the roots, whatever else. I went last week and did this side of my mouth. They had to numb both sides. I was bleeding for like 12 hours.
That's disgusting.
I went yesterday.
Yeah.
That's why you filled in for me. Thank you. Because I was not only because of the red eye, I had they couldn't get me in. I got done with this side of the mouth, and they're like, okay, now we got to do the other side. But we don't have anything open until like, whatever. And I said, well, May is out, right? They managed to get me an appointment. I went in there, and she said, well, we're only doing the top left now. I thought you were doing the whole side. Oh, no, we don't have time to do that. We got to do the top, and then we'll come back and we'll do the bottom.
They had to cut your mouth into thirds just to clean it?
Well, no, it's called scaling. So they have to go under the root, yes. So
when was the last time you had been in the dentist?
Oh, I mean, probably
before COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have dental insurance.
Well, yeah, but like.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're a man of means, Jake.
I floss and brush my teeth with regularity.
It doesn't matter. You could floss and brush all you want. There are areas in your mouth that you can't get. You need a professional to go back there and get.
Which is what we're doing, right? So they did say to me, they're like, yeah, you did.
What you're doing now 5 years later.
So at any rate,
God. What's wrong
I
with
went
you?
in, and they're like, well, yeah, we only have time to do the tops, and then we'll do the bottom. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Your mom gives you a PSA about wet leaves every year. Does she know that you didn't go to the dentist for a decade?
Probably.
She'd be upset about that, I would think.
I brush like 4 times a day.
Again, it doesn't matter. There's some areas even with like an electric toothbrush and stuff, you can't get some of that stuff back there.
Well, they said to me, they're like,
And it just festers.
we'll do this, and you're back to pace. I'm like, okay, good. So
Yeah, please go regularly. Like I'm thinking of you because your dental health also affects other
It does.
areas
It
too.
does.
People don't realize it. But
No, it does.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm always thinking. I mean, I think you could tell just by looking at me. I'm always thinking about my body, and
Yeah.
how can I improve my body? Which is you're probably thinking at home. That's kind of hard to do. It looks great, but you keep having to work at that. So it's not just this. It's not just my dental
what?
health. It's not just having a stylist like Carly to take care. It's not just moisturizing. And I usually put something into my
here's what
forehead.
did me in, Derek. Probably
It's going to the gym and lifting.
one of the
all that
biggest
stuff.
compliments I get from people is they say I have very nice teeth.
Yeah, well, they've never took a deep gander in there, apparently.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So all kinds of weird things in there.
Mm-hmm.
You are, I wouldn't say a very responsible, you're a reasonably responsible adult. And I'm just surprised that, you say that you didn't have dental insurance for a long time. Yeah, that's true, but you've been with the radio station since 22, so you've had dental insurance for at least as long as then.
Not accurate.
You declined it?
I don't know.
You do your benefits every year, right?
Right.
And you just check the no box? I don't want.
I don't want to get into the HR specifics here, but no, I did not have dental insurance until this year.
I was gonna say, like, dental insurance, it's like $7 a month, I think, or something, or it's like $12 or whatever it is. It's not expensive
Okay.
with an employment plan.
Again, I don't want to get into HR stuff here and get in trouble. I'm just saying I did not have dental insurance.
Now I'm curious. I'm gonna do some more digging.
Okay.
Not in your mouth, but I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on. We come back on the show. Purdue gets some good news about a returnee. I didn't really think that there was much to the smoke around this person leaving. We'll talk about that. And our Winners Drink Milk winner of the week. Plenty more basketball to get to as well. It's Corey and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey, AC, which games are we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in, it's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching, barn needs cleaning, tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, AC,
Nice snap.
mortgage is a snap. Duh.
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Corey and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group here on the IC Sports Network. You just saw Walker Wood, son of Mike Wood, in that commercial. Mortgages in a snap. Duh. You can get a mortgage in a snap. Remember we were doing on the show, like we were measuring snaps
I'm a better
against
snapper.
each other?
I'm a better snapper than you.
I don't know. I think we determined it was kind of a wash. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. I do have small hands, so that impacts me a little bit.
Okay.
That impacts me a little
Is
bit.
it hard to find gloves?
855
Coaching the baseball team?
350 home. I have youth gloves. BAWFG.com.
Okay.
I have a youth jacket. It has a name tag in it. Never stop exploring, and you can put your name in it because it's a youth jacket.
Okay.
I feel like I told you that before.
I'm going
on
to
the
take
show.
another sip of my chili water beer based
This
on
is
that.
a Youth XL North Face jacket because Youth XL fits me in a lot of cases, and they're much cheaper, so it's actually a great deal.
Okay.
So I sometimes
Speaking
buy
of great
something
deals,
Youth
I
XL.
got new shoes at the outlets in Long Beach. Did you notice that?
Yeah, nice.
$20.
BAWFG.com. 855-350-HOME. Thank you to Mike Wood and his team for always supporting us. And they
these
can support you if you're looking to get pre-approval for a home mortgage.
How do these shoes
It's home
look?
buying season. Or you're looking to refi, BAWFG.com. Proud
You know what?
sponsors of Corey and Schultz.
The shoes that I'm wearing, I got them because I got a great deal on them at an outlet. And that's really what Mike and his group can do for you at Bailey and Wood. They're going to find you the best rate. They're going to lock it in for you, and they're going to take care of you. And they are great folks. As Derek had mentioned, family-owned business, and they've been really good to us. They will be really good to you as well. Everything going okay over there?
Yeah, shoes are good. Shoes are good.
Do they look okay with jeans, or do they look?
Yeah, I mean, Chucks are timeless. Chucks will never go out of style.
Okay. Chuck Taylor's is what I'm wearing, and they match my shirt.
Yeah, people in Indiana know when you say Chucks. Braden Smith coming back to Purdue. There was a lot of smoke about what he was being offered. Kentucky's going to offer him this. I think somebody said Kansas is going to offer him $4 million or whatever else. I don't know. Maybe that happened. But Braden Smith is coming back to Purdue. He confirmed yesterday on his Instagram account. Yesterday, we're taping this early Tuesday. This was late Monday. Running it back one last time. Purdue's given me everything, memories, challenges, growth, and a family. There's still so much more to prove, more to accomplish, more moments to create with my brothers. Much love to my guys in Boiler Nation. Let's make next year unforgettable. Consensus first-team All-American, and he's going to have a leg up on the preseason Wooden Award favorite as well. And Purdue's going to be a top 5 team in the preseason polls, likely. I mean, as long as they keep... Well, they're going to keep Smith now. As long as they keep Trey Kaufman, Wren, and Fletcher Boyer.
Assuming he stays healthy, he's going to be a first-round pick now, I think. I mean, he had worked his way into 25 to 45 range. Another year, he may – I don't know. I mean, do you really move yourself up in the NBA draft in today's world? I don't know. But he is going to be somebody who is going to be wide. Yes, a lot of speculation about him.
He's one of the most gifted passers I've ever seen on any level. He's just
he has a very good court vision.
Unbelievable
Sandwich is
passer.
unbelievable.
And I think that maybe just being so elite in that one area, you could carve out an NBA career, but the size is going to be a challenge. The size is going to be a challenge for him. He's very small. That's why he wasn't hotly recruited. If Braden Smith was at Westfield was 6'5", he'd have a much different offer list than what he ended up having, where he was a good recruit, right? But not like...
How big is he?
6'1". Yeah, I mean, it's not huge. But still, 16 points, 4.5 rebounds, 8.7 assists, second in the country. I don't even think that the numbers do him justice. He's the kind of guy that impacts a game without, it always kind of showing up on the score sheet.
The Houston game, when Purdue was playing Houston in the tournament, and I don't recall who it was, but there was a post from somebody that was like, I haven't watched a lot of Purdue, but this Braden Smith is the best point guard in college basketball, and it's not close. Like this guy is single-handedly keeping them in the game by facilitating and mastering every possession.
Yeah, he was the only reason they were in the game at all, because they pretty much neutralized Trey Kaufman, Wren, because their bigs are so physical and so good.
Speaking of which, I thought about this, Derek. In the Final Four this year, did the most boring storyline play itself out? Like Duke, you've got Cooper Flagg and that, right?
Yeah.
Houston, you've got this incredible defense and a team, Kelvin Sampson winning like close games, coming back and making plays down the stretch and whatever else. And then Auburn was high flying all year, and Bruce Pearl's this larger than life personality.
Yeah,
Florida's just kind of.
Yeah, but Walter Clayton Jr. was really fun.
Yeah,
was really fun. Todd Golden's kind of creep, right? Like
kind of.
I mean, Florida had some fun players. I mean, you talk about Auburn being like wide open and all that. I mean, Florida had some dudes that could jump out the gym, and
no, you're right.
It's not like they won every game 55-52 or something.
But even in the year of the SEC, I mean, we mostly heard about Auburn and Tennessee, and even to an extent Kentucky and
Florida came on late. You're right. Florida was kind of hanging around. Like
correct.
Everybody knew Florida was good, but Florida, when they won the SEC tournament and the final couple of weeks of the season, that's when you're like, oh boy, like this team's really, really good. And we knew that they were good going in, but that's when they became like title favorite type good. But I don't know. I think the storylines were fantastic. I think we got 3 terrific games, got 2 good semifinals, and you got a championship game that was very dramatic at the end, even though it wasn't great basketball, great execution at the end of that game because Houston kind of fumbled it away. But it was still great drama, and that's all you want. I think, when it comes to something like that. We also got great drama with the Masters, and Rory McIlroy really tried to give it away. I think he had a 6-stroke lead, didn't he? At one point, turning at the turn, and just was kind of a disaster there. He double bogeyed 13. He missed a 4 or 5 foot putt to win on 18. Generally there's no coming back from that when you miss a gimme like that. But he still came back on the next playoff hole and ended up winning, and ended an 11-year major drought. And he was a guy that kind of burst onto the scene, and you thought, oh my God, this guy's going to win 15, he's going to rival Tiger and Jack for the most majors. And for whatever reason, it just didn't really materialize that way for him. I was trying to think of like what Rory's NBA comp would be. Like somebody that came on and you're like, oh man, like he's going to be one of the 3 or 4 best players ever. And he still ended up being an all-time great player, right? Like a top, I don't know, 10 to 15, 20 type player. But not like, I mean, Rory, I think, and this is coming from somebody, we're not golf guys.
Olajuwon?
I don't know. Was the feeling that Olajuwon was going to be early in his career, like one of the, I'm not as old as you.
Yeah, I mean, he was the
number 1 pick and coming off 5 slam and jam and all that, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, he was the number 1 overall selection, and Akeem the Dream, and he was,
who is still, I think, pretty firmly a top 15 player.
Yeah, but people don't
automatically
because he played in the same. Ironically, because he won the titles and not Ewing, but because he came out with Ewing is the one that was the higher. You know what I mean?
And then Jordan, yeah, I mean, right?
Jordan,
yeah,
right,
Jordan in the same class, but I just think the thing that Rory. People remember Rory, even if he doesn't win another major, he has the career Grand Slam, which is really, really difficult. 6 guys have it, and he's the only European guy, if I'm not mistaken, to have it. I think the only other non-American to have it is Gary Player, and he's
remember,
South African.
Is Rory McIlroy, my apologies for getting this confused at times, when everything went live and all that, Rory McIlroy the one that was like, that kind of came out of all of it as like the good guy? Am I correct?
I think, yeah.
He's not a live golfer, right?
No. This was the problem with having golf conversations. We're both very casual golf. I watch the majors. That's what I watch. And I went to the Phoenix Open, Waste Management Open.
I was surprised to learn that he is only the 6th player to win a career Grand Slam. That surprised me.
Really hard to win all 4, though.
I know, but
all 4 majors
at any point in your career.
Yeah, but still.
But still, I would have guessed in the history of golf that there would be more than 6 people that have done that.
Yeah. I mean, there are some guys that have won some of the other events multiple times and not had a career Grand Slam.
Maybe I'm thinking of like in tennis, most of those guys have won the career Grand Slam.
Well,
right?
somebody said, you mentioned tennis. Somebody mentioned that the best career comp for Rory is Andre Agassi, where he came on like crazy early on, and he was a huge star, and then he had some personal issues and things like that, and then had this like late career surge where he won one of those tournaments in '98 or '99. Was it? I don't know if it was
Agassi
Wimbledon. Won the Open or something like that.
When he hit the scene, he was the next big thing for sure.
I loved Agassi. I loved that era of tennis. My parents were big tennis people. They still are, and so we watched all that stuff.
Do you like Sampras?
No, because he was boring.
Okay.
He's boring. He was the Tim Duncan of tennis.
Yeah, fair.
But I loved we always rooted for Agassi. And
Becker ahead of your time?
No. Right in there in the 90s. We had a guy at church that looked like Boris Becker. Yeah, his name was Steve Sanford. He was a great guy, but he looked, for whatever reason, he looked like Boris Becker. He kind of had that same hair and everything. And my dad loved Jimmy Connors. I remember watching Jim Courier beat
Connors or McEnroe
in the 91 Open.
Yeah.
I remember Michael Chang.
Yeah,
and all that. I mean, it was a great era for tennis. And supposedly, I wasn't here for that. All those guys came through the RCAs.
Oh, it was great. Yeah,
because it was the hard court warm up for the Open, right?
That's exactly correct. Yep. Yeah.
It was a who's who. The Indy tournament
that kind of got replaced by Cincinnati, but yes,
sadly, yeah. And then we lost the tournament, and it's probably never coming back, right?
Yeah,
that's one thing that Indy lost. It feels like of all the events that Indy puts on and does a great job.
By the way, where the old for those that remember it, the clay courts, and then later the hard courts, the RCA championships. That the U.S. Tennis Center the Indianapolis Tennis Center that was right there. That's where the new IU Indy Arena is going to be. that location.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Yeah. That was even in the late years when it was just like Andy Roddick and James Blake and a bunch of people that nobody had ever heard of. I loved going. Live tennis is cool.
It is. It's great.
It's cool to watch. If you ever
But
get
by the way,
chance to
so
go.
Rory McIlroy would be our Winners Drink Milk winner of the week, right?
Yeah, we have to wait for Rake to bring the milk in, though. He's running a little bit behind. So let's just tap dance for a little bit longer. How are you? Besides your mouth.
My mouth's great.
How are you doing?
My mouth is great.
It will be great. It will be fixed now that it's not rotting from the inside out. How about this? Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll do the quick hits. We'll give Rake a little bit more time. And then when he comes back with the milk, American Dairy Association, Indiana, Winners Drink Milk.
Did the
winner of the
time
week.
throw him off?
Well, it's just he has other obligations to get to. So we're waiting for Rake.
I do have a question about the dentist.
This is a weird time to
let-
tape
let-
the show.
Let me
It's
ask you
early
this.
in the morning.
Let me ask you this. You know when they say that someone's identified by their dental records?
Yeah.
So 2 questions here. Number one, who has these dental records?
Your dentist.
But
If
what
you go to one?
But what if you go to what if someone doesn't go to the dentist, or B, if they that seems like a really important thing for people to keep a hold of. Like if you go to different dentists, if you move from Indianapolis to Austin, Texas, and you're living in Austin, Texas, who transfers these dental records? And furthermore, what is it about the dental records that are like snowflakes where it's different? There are no two that are alike. How is your dental if so you're telling me your combination of where you had fillings is unique to there's no one else who has that combo? What exactly are the records that they keep that are unique to you?
I think the DNA preserves better because unlike your skin or something that can melt off in a horrific fire or something like that, the bone from your dental, they can identify you from the DNA that's in the bone, right? Isn't that how that works? I mean, I'm not an expert.
So
I'm guessing that's what it
your
is.
dentist has a record of the DNA that's in your teeth?
I'm just saying there's better evidence of all that. But yeah, like, bite marks and things like that, they can do sometimes when there are horrific crimes, like these sadistic serial killers, they can look at that and they can match the bite. I mean, you could find a hair on the scene or anything. Obviously fluids, so like
I
blood
understand,
and semen and all of that. That can all be identifiers as well.
I understand. No, I understand, like from a DNA standpoint, but with just dental, like that he was identified based on dental records. What, like, molar 3 had a cavity, so it has to be Charles Smith. What?
Well, I mean, yeah, in that category, you'd be, let's say, hypothetically, that Mac Engel and you were driving to the hospital when you were about to kick it, and you got into a fiery car accident.
Right.
And the bodies were burned unrecognizably. No one would know that you were gone. Because you had no dental records. I hadn't seen a dentist since 1992.
No, that's my point, though. Like
your mom took you.
That is the point, though. Like, what does happen if somebody has no dental records? Like, even, I don't mean this.
There are still Jane Does and John Does, Jake, that come in and they don't know who it is, and they tag the body or whatever else, and they're buried. They don't do pauper graves anymore.
So what about this? So exact same scenario. So you with your fabulous, flawless dental records, right?
Yeah, I had beautiful teeth.
You get into a fiery crash in Prague.
Okay. I've been planning to go to Prague. Maybe I shouldn't go now. Maybe this is a.
So you get a fiery crash there.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have no idea who this is. So they call back to the U.S. They're like, here's what we have. What is it that your dentist has on record that then they verify to your teeth?
Yeah, and I think it's different than us. For us, this is going to come off the wrong way. Like, if you or I die in a fiery car accident, like, people would realize, because we're public figures or something like that. Like, if that happened to Vince in Prague, like, I don't know, probably his mom or dad or something like that, like, they would say, but like, we'd have thousands of people, like, flooding, like, where's Jake? Where's Derek?
No.
Because we're celebrity figures. So it's different than the common folk.
I hate to say this. If that happened to you in Prague, no one would realize it until the following Tuesday, because then they would see that I didn't have someone with me on the show, and that's really the only way that you're associated, unless you're the Grasshoppers.
Can you imagine if you and I were in the same car and it happened? I mean, we'd get the Monument Circle processional. They would do the service at Gamebridge. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. Mayor Hogsett, I remember sitting next to them not that long ago at the basketball game.
Derek, first off, there's zero chance that Mayor Hoagie...
There'd be a tearful woman singing. Nobody knew who she was, but she's beautiful.
There's no chance that Mayor Hoagie
Ave Maria
remembers sitting next to us at the game, and that has nothing to do with our celebrity status, just so you know.
I'm telling you, I've thought about this. That, like, and I've told Ashley to prepare for this. Like, if I were to meet an early demise, it'd be a huge deal.
So you think, okay...
It'd be a huge deal.
So if I had not survived that heart
People
attack,
crying and wailing, like
okay,
not just
this.
tears, like wailing,
let me ask you this.
Screaming in pain.
When I had that heart attack, which was on a Thursday, and I got home from the hospital on Saturday afternoon, and I came in, I think then we were tipping on Mondays.
We were, yeah.
And I still did the show, right?
I remember that. I told you, stay home.
Would you have done the show if I had not made it?
No.
On that Monday?
No.
Really?
If you had died?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I would not have done this. The show would have been, I mean, I would probably have done a show, obviously it'd be awkward if we didn't talk about the elephant in the room. And then it'd become the Derek Schultz show, and we'd keep all the sponsorship, and I'd get 100% of the money. But yeah, in the wake of, immediately after you died, it wouldn't be right if I didn't go on there and say, hey, I just have an announcement to make. Jake Query has passed away on the show. We are rebranding the show now. Thanks to Jake for all of his contributions. And he lived a great life. But it was time.
But you think it would have made so you're saying based on this hubbub that you think it would have made the newspaper?
Your heart attack, you didn't even die, and you got on like Sports Center. Remember, didn't Nicole Briscoe interview?
I guess you're right.
Yeah. You didn't even die. I remember watching that. I was sitting at home. I was in my living room, and Jake's on my screen. He's on Sports Center, and I'm like, "What the hell? He's alive. Who cares?"
Okay.
Well, Nicole, you learn about life, and every day is a gift. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah.
It's a good PR move, Derek.
But I'll always remember that Saturday when we talked after it happened, and it was over the phone, right? Because you were in a hospital bed. But it was a lot like San Antonio. We laughed, we cried.
No,
told each other we loved each other.
Mama will tell you that I was not under any sort of anesthesia, and so therefore there's zero chance there was an emotional contact with you.
It was also the Michael Penix reaches over the pylon Penn State game. It was that night.
Was it really?
In the hospital, yeah. I remember that because that was the Big Ten opener because it was COVID.
By the way,
it was college football opening weekend in late October.
By the way, he was out. That was not.
He was. Yeah, but it was a great moment. It was a really great moment for IU football. But yeah, he was
Tom Allen, right?
He was out of bounds. Yeah, he was the coach then. Remember? Yeah, LEO. That's what we do. That's what we do on the show. LEO. We come back, quick hits, and hopefully Eureka will arrive with the milk at some point. It's Corey and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group, here on the ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey & Wood.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
So a real rare thing on this show, turns out I messed something up.
Oh, shocker.
Turns out I messed something up. I was supposed to get the milk today. So sorry. I texted Rake like an hour ago before we started the show, and I get here pretty early, and we tape early. And I texted him, hey, do you need me to get the milk today? And he texted me back, I do. I'll be there around 10. And for some reason, I read that as, like, I'll do it or something. So I guess I messed that up. Oh, does Sean have one? Oh, we have an unopened one from last week. Thank you. Sean Walker. I forgot. We have an unopened one from last. This doesn't have the racing drivers on it, though.
Derek, the American Dairy Association has been really, really good to us. We are going to MC the fastest rookie luncheon again this year. We did their summit last year. They've been very good to us. Brooke, Jenny. But in addition to that, milk is good for you. I mean, that's the bottom line. Not just the American Dairy Association and the fabulous farmers, the family atmosphere of dairy farmers throughout the state of Indiana. not just the fact that it's the greatest tradition in sports, the drinking of milk, to symbolize that you've won the Indianapolis 500-mile race. But in addition to that, bringing us our winner of the week each and every week, as we mentioned, it's Rory McIlroy, which is hard for me to say. But more so what milk can do for you. It does a body good, that much we know, but winners drink milk. And if you are – winning is a relative term, right? You finish a workout, you're a winner. You get something done that you had set your mind to, you're a winner. Or you're just a winner every day, your body thinks so when you drink milk, because you are getting – the kind of protein that you get from hard-boiled eggs. You're getting the kind of vitamin A that you can get from spinach. You're getting the potassium that you get from bananas, all within one serving of, say, chocolate milk, the ultimate post-workout refreshment. And milk never lets you down. When you need that sort of energy boost, that sort of a refreshment, that sort of replenishing of those important nutrients and vitamins, it doesn't let you down. The American Dairy Association farmers never let you down. They are up early every morning. They are working like Carrie Estes, for example. They're working to provide the milk that becomes available for the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Never lets you down. Yet, when you trust for Derek to bring in the milk bottles with commemoratively the winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race on them in order to do our toast each and every week, which we just started a week ago, and Derek lets you down. Never fails. Never fails. But milk also never fails, by the way, in the legitimate sense.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. Thanks to Sean for getting the milk right here. Winnersdrinkmilk.com. This doesn't have an IndyCar driver on it, but that's okay. Winner of the week is the guy that we were just talking about. It's Rory, right?
I just said that.
Yeah. Well, we have to mention it again.
Okay.
Because now we're doing the segment. It's Rory. And we just talked about him. Great win. 21 top 10 finishes.
Can you add a little energy to this, please?
21 top 10 finishes. 3 runners up during his majors drought. And now that drought is over, Jake. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy. I do miss, and I filled in for you on the radio show yesterday, but people ask me a lot, hey, do you miss being on the radio? And the answer mostly is no. But when I do really miss it is that week in Gasoline Alley from the Firestone Garage. That was always my favorite week of the year.
Come by. I'm doing the show there.
Are you really at Firestone Garage?
No, up in the media center, but come by.
Oh, yeah. Well, you do the show in the media center all the time, but that's boring.
The Firestone Garage was great.
Firestone Garage was a sweet setup. I don't even remember who set that up. Was that Jim Kendall that did that?
Yep,
okay.
Yeah.
The great Bob and Tom salesman, who I think is now retired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Kendall used to set that up, and that was we'd have the drivers come by. A lot of times Jake would have to go in there and knock some heads to get people.
Yeah.
Because some of the drivers would be like, I'm not doing that. You'd be like,
do you remember the driver that one time ended up getting bumped from the field that was a rookie that like hardly anybody knew about, and he was walking past, and so I grabbed him, pulled him on, and sat him down with this Pato Award.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember having Pato on before anybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
I remember having Rossi on the first year. Rossi was on the year that he won in 2016, and I was like, who's this dude? I was like, he's all like, he kind of came off as, and I think it's just his personality is a little bit different. Like he has a personality, right? But he's a little more dry. Not dry like willpower dry, but like, a little bit like you gotta reach in there a little bit. And I thought he was just like cocky and arrogant. I think I just had the wrong read on him.
Right.
But most of the drivers, I mean, there was never a driver that I was like, I don't like this dude. Because even the people that were, back markers or there on one-off deals, all had interesting backstories. Remember that dude that was he lived in Monaco full time?
Stefano Coletti.
Yeah. There was also a dude, and you could tell me who this was. I think he was the first out in his race. He had the electric skateboard that would go through the garages. I think he was Australian. Do you know who I'm talking about? I don't think the other drivers liked him. I think he might have been a little arrogant, but I liked him because I thought he had a cool vibe. I'll have to go back. I'll have to go back and look.
Nelson Philippe?
No. No, he had like a regular sounding name, but I think he was either Aussie or like Kiwi or
Wade Cunningham?
He was not American. No, not Wade Cunningham. I'll look it up some other time.
Hold on.
I'll look it up. No, don't obsess over it.
Okay.
Don't obsess over it. Time to get to our quick hits. The Fever did not have a first-round pick in the WNBA draft on Monday night, but they still drafted three players.
Was this guy just here a year?
I think he only did it once. Yeah. I mean, Stefano Coletti only did it once, right?
Martin Plowman?
No, Martin Plowman's a super nice guy.
I was going to say,
super
like,
nice
he's
guy.
like a super
yeah,
well-liked
and a
guy.
Brit. He wasn't a Brit, but he was not American.
Wait a minute.
Davidson or something?
James Davison.
Yes, Davison. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And the other drivers, I don't think liked it.
Crashed with Sato, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were big fans because he was very much like
Jonathan Bird's car.
tell you exactly what he thinks.
Yeah,
Type
he's a
guy.
cool dude.
Yeah,
I like him.
He didn't play the politics at all,
like him.
but he just hop on a skateboard and go around. He was cool. Fever had 3 picks. They traded the first-round pick for Vince's favorite, Sophie Cunningham, but they still grabbed 3 players starting at number 19, where
Vince
they took.
like Sophie Cunningham?
Oh yeah, Vince is a big fan. Michaela Timpson. They took at 19 Bree Hall, former teammate of Aaliyah Boston's at South Carolina. They took at 20, and Gonzaga's Yvonne Ejim at 33rd overall. 3 players can either play an up-tempo style or shoot, and you can kind of see what their team-building philosophy. You know, Tony East said it last night. It's going to be a fun team to watch. It's going to be, I think, a dynamic offense. Both Purdue and Notre Dame have not named starting quarterbacks. They're wrapping up the spring right now, and neither of them know. 3-headed race in South Bend between C.J. Carr, Steve Angeli, and Kenny Minchie. C.J. Carr was a high-level recruit, but Steve Angeli, remember he came in the Penn State game when Riley Leonard got dinged up?
Right.
And
played
led him
well,
on a
right?
field goal drive. Yeah, that kind of saved the game. I don't know if Purdue's quarterback is on the roster right now. They might have to add somebody in the spring portal. They got that Arkansas transfer, Malachi Singleton, but he hasn't been great. Bennett Meredith might be the leader. He's the lone holdover from the previous staff.
I have one to throw in here, by the way.
Okay.
I am, as you know, a Clemson football fan, right?
Yeah.
Clemson
No
wears
secret.
orange. I'm a fan of all teams orange, less
Even the Grasshoppers.
Yeah. I was never a huge Tennessee fan. They're fine. I don't dislike Tennessee. They're just, you know, their games are great, and I mean, there's a lot to like about Tennessee, but I am all in on Tennessee now. I'm still a Clemson fan, but I give Tennessee a ton of credit. And I listen, the kid Nico, how do we say it? Nico is what I call him, the quarterback from Tennessee.
Imaleava.
He's a great player, And I totally understand where he's coming from. Because NIL is about to be legislated and, you know, kind of salary capped, I get it. Right now, you got to push in and get what you can. I totally get it. But the fact that he played hardball with Tennessee and Tennessee just said, we're good.
Yeah.
And he might be the best quarterback in the country.
And Tennessee can pay you whatever they want.
Right.
They're Tennessee. Yeah.
And Tennessee just said, look, man, we have practices, and if you're not here, you're not part of the team, and bada boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know what? Kudos to Tennessee. Hats off, Rocky Top, you name it. I'm all in.
He's on to North Carolina, by the way.
Is that where he's going?
Yeah, $3.5 million.
Yeah.
So he wanted 4, he got 3.5. I mean, the current framework, Jake, is just it's not sustainable. They can't keep going like
Right.
this.
Well,
it's just going to keep
it's gonna
escalating,
be-
and you're going to have more kids.
Well, it's going to be
doing this.
ruled upon in July,
Yeah.
and that's the end of that,
But
right?
it's going to be hard. I mean, the NCAA, they try to cap things, and the free market says no.
Right.
You can't. And these judges look at this case and they're like, no. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to have to be employees. That's just the way it's going to have to be. There's no other viable solution. They're already not amateurs anymore. It's professional.
Right.
You know, they're treated like professionals. Revenue sharing and all of that. I mean, I just don't know how you can get away with pretending the framework is what it's clearly not.
You ready for Buyer to Bullshits?
Yeah, let's do it. Do we need to sneak in a break, Vince, or can we tack that on? No, sneak in. Okay. We'll do a break. Come back. Biter Bull Bleep from Chateau Kitchens next. It's Corey and Schultz.
Hey, ISC, which games are we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey and Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Nice snap.
Mortgages and a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Back for a final time here on Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey and Wood Finance Group. Alongside Jay Query, I'm Derek. Hi. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you're on YouTube, podcast, ISC, Twitch, Twitter, X. Where else are we on? Facebook. Thanks so much for tuning us in. We're everywhere.
Right?
Yeah, we're everywhere.
Prague
in a fiery car accident where our bodies are burned beyond recognition. Yes, we've had a kind of a weird show today. You're never going to be treated weirdly with Chateau Kitchens. Their logo's right behind me. ChateauKitchens.com. They're in the business of in-home transformations, and they can do the same for your home, just like they've done for mine, whether it be your basement, your kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom, a wet bar, you name it. If it's in the interior of your house, Chateau Kitchens can transform it. At Chateau Kitchens on Instagram and Facebook, you don't even have to take my word for it. They've got beautiful and stunning before and after pictures on their social media accounts if you want to check them out yourself. Let's go to Buy It or Bold Bleep. Jake's statement numero uno. The Pacers have to win a first-round series for this season to be considered a success. Buy it or Bold Bleep.
I actually buy that. I think it's been a success, but by the standards that we expected going in based on last year, to be a success, no. I mean, winning 50 games and overcoming some of the things they did over the course of the year with injuries and Neesmith being out for a long time, but it would feel disappointing if they don't win a series.
Yeah, that's the statement that I'll agree with. It would be, is it a failure?
Right.
Disappointing, yes, but I think really what set them up for this is last year's surprise run. If last year's team had lost in the first round and lost in the second round, and then this team lost in the first round, I don't think you'd look at it as some cataclysmic type disappointment. But yeah, I buy it. For this season to be considered successful, you'd have to say yes, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about disappointment or failure. I'm saying for this season to be a success, you'd have to win a first-round playoff series coming off a conference finals appearance. But the 50 wins is nice. I mean, this is a better team than it was last year. That doesn't mean that they're going to go to the East Finals, though, because last year, as we've talked about, was also circumstance-driven. The Pacers got a good draw, but that's life. That's sports. You need some luck. You need some good fortune in order to make runs. 2025-26 Purdue will be a better basketball team than 2023-24 Purdue. Buy it or Bold Bleep.
It's hard to know how they replace Colvin and Heidi, without knowing that yet of who those guys are going to be. But I'll say no. I'll say Bolschultz. I don't think they're going to regress, but I think they'll be about where they were. They were very good. I mean, they were very good.
I think besides Edey, I think we're kind of underrating what like Lance Jones did for that team. And
I'm
Mason
sorry.
Gillis.
You said they're going to be.
I said the 24 team that lost to UConn, next year's Purdue team is going to be better than that team.
Oh yeah, no Bolschultz.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to win the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you'd have to win the league. You'd have to win.
Yeah, no.
They did not win the league tournament, but you'd have to win the league outright, and you'd have to get back to a Final Four probably to have that argument.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, I think they can win the league.
They were the national
go to the Final
runner-up.
Four. I know. I think they can. I mean, they're going to be a preseason top 5 team.
Okay.
I don't think it's outlandish.
Do I think they're going to be the
suggest
national
that.
champion? I do not.
I'm going to say no because I don't think that Braden Smith can, as great as he is, I don't think he can have a season like Zach Edey did.
Right. Correct.
His senior year. I mean,
Correct.
he was incredible. Statement number 3, tax day sucks. Buy it or Bold Bleep.
No, I love it.
My dad loved it. He was a CPA.
Okay, how about
My
this?
dad
Terry?
loves taxes.
I have one for you.
Okay.
Buy it or Bolschultz. The NBA Finals will not feature a number 1 seed.
So Cavs and Thunder?
Correct.
I'm going to say Bold Bleep. I think the Thunder are going to come out of the West.
Who's the 2 seed in the West?
Houston. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Completely out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Boston's going to win the East.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But Oak City, I'll give you that. I mean,
Yeah.
Gilgeous-Alexander's a special player.
I mean, I think it'll be. I think if it works out this way, I think Cavs, Pacers, Knicks, Celtics would be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Knicks can't beat the Celtics is the problem, so maybe that won't be as competitive of a series. But I think the Pacers, if they get there, I don't want to look ahead because I think the Bucks absolutely can win that series.
Sure.
But if the Pacers can get there, I think they can cause the Cavaliers a lot of problems. Yeah. Cavs are good, are really good. Maybe this is a history thing, and maybe I'm being biased, but I don't think that they're as good as what their record says that they are. Whereas I think the Thunder are. I think the Thunder are as good as their record says. But Cavs have had a tremendous season. They've been really, really good. Thanks to our fantastic sponsors on the show, Chateau Kitchens, Chili Water Brewing, Tap Room, and Hoagies and Hops, our pals over there in Midtown. Our friends at American Dairy Association Indiana, winnersdrinkmilk.com if you want to check them out. And who am I missing?
You said Chateau Kitchens.
Oh, Bailey and Wood. Duh. The presenting sponsor of the show, for God's sake. Bailey and Wood Financial Group. Thanks to Vince. Thanks to Jordan. He's Jake. I'm Derek. We'll see you next time right here on QNS. We're not even worried about hitting the post on times anymore. Sorry, guys.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
At